priest to say that I vowed everything. So now I can't honor my father and my mother in what they want from me because I vowed everything to the priesthood. That's what they used to say. They say, oh, it's korban, meaning I already gave it to the priesthood. You understand? So this is how they would think because, oh yeah, I'm going to deal with the letter. But the spirit of the law was to honor your father and your mother out of what?
Love.
Boom! Right? Out of love. So you're going to love them. And what would you do for somebody that loved you? Bare minimum? See? What do you do for the Most High that made you? Bare minimum? Right. It said this, if Christ said if your brother asks you to go with him a mile, go with him twain, how much you give the Most High? See, us being spiritual, we're supposed to look above just the letter. You understand? We're supposed to read between the lines. And how do we do that? We use precept on precept, precept on precept, here a little, there a little, and get understanding. What is this Bible trying to form in me? A person that'll go above and beyond. You see that? It's trying to form in me a person that's not just going to do the bare minimum. It's trying to make a great person out of me rather than just some lady or some guy. You understand? But let's read that. Read that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year.
Right? So you shall truly tithe all the increase of your seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. I'll say it just like Christ said it. Have you not heard that it was said, you shall tithe the increase of your land, the increase of your seed, that the land bringeth forth year by year? You've heard that, right? Okay, but what is required of us from the Most High? Love the Most High with all your heart, your mind, your spirit, right? So with everything you have. That's why when you go to Acts, when we read Acts the other day, you didn't have to tell those people, give. We need you to give. No, it said as soon as they were hearing the word of the Most High, they were so happy about that, they went and sold lands and houses and brought the whole price to the apostles' feet. You see that? You didn't have to tell them, yeah, it says tithe, but also we had offering. We didn't have to go through classes like that for the first church. They were so glad to be counted as children of the Most High again. They was like, you know what? We know what the law says. We know it says that you give 10%. We're going to give 100%. Now see that? But see, when you deal with those people that are saying, oh yeah, see the law says it was just the increase of the field. Right? Okay, well, what about the people of Acts? What about the ones that gave their 100%, gave everything they had, and laid it at the apostles' feet? Oh, well, that's not tithe. Okay, cool. That's not tithe. It was an offering. So tithe was what the Most High required, which is what we're reading right here. All right? We're reading tithe was the increase of your seed that the field bringeth forth year by year. Read on.
Come. Verse 23. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there. The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herd, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Right. So here, when you're reading about that, you ate it. You understand? You got all that 10%, and you sat there and you ate that. Well, what does that do for the tabernacle? What does that do for the priest? What does that do for for your nation? You ate that. The Most High wanted you to have that because he also put in the workman is worthy of his hire, right? He also told you, muzzle not the mouth of the ox that treadeth out the corn. So you made all that stuff, right? You did all that work. He said, go ahead and sit down and partake of that. Bring that to the priest, and you eat of that with them. You see that? Because that's the good stuff. And that's, in doing that, you're going to be giving thanks to the Most High. You see that? Well, what did that do for the priest? What did that do for your nation? See? That's why he had offerings set up also. So you had tithe, which is the 10% of your increase. All right. Now go to Exodus chapter 25. So you're clear on tithes, right? What tithes are, sis? All right, that is the 10%. Speaking according to the letter of the law, it's the 10% of what you brought in from the field. All right. So whether flocks or herds or seed, right? You brought that in, and that was your 10%. Now, Israelite custom also is not Israelite custom. According to the law, the firstborn goes to the Most High also. All right. So your firstborn son, whatever, that was dedicated to the priesthood, or dedicated to the army, or dedicated to whatever service the Most High had set up. You see that? Right? So, and you got a lot of Israelites that won't go to those certain parts of the law because it requires you to give up of yourself. You see that? It's easy to go chop down a bunch of weeds in the field, chop down a bunch of barley or something like that, and lay it at the priest's feet and be like, "There you go." Right? I'm gonna take out of my 10 bushels that I got. I'm gonna take one and give it to the priest. That's easy. You see that? That's why Cain's sacrifice wasn't looked on, because that was easy. He didn't have to work for that. You just took something else. You took something out of the field that grew of itself pretty much, and you put that before the priest. That ain't nothing. But a sheep, you gotta groom, and you gotta care for, and you gotta make sure it doesn't go wandering off. You actually have to show some love to that, and then you gotta take it, slice its throat, and give it to the priest. Right? That took something out of you. You see that? When you give yourself, and you're gonna go do the work of the Most High, this took something out of you. That's a sacrifice, and we're gonna go more into that with this class. But where you at?
Exodus chapter
25. Yeah.
And
start at verse 1.
Exodus chapter 25 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart.
So like we brought up Friday, this had to do with doing it willingly with your heart. All right? And this is going to come to bear too, so pay close attention to that, because it's going to touch into our class too. But the Most High ordered Moses to order the people to bring an offering that they brought willingly. If they weren't going to bring it willingly, he don't need it. Y'all see that? If you're gonna hold back, or if you're gonna be like, you know what, I don't really want to give this, then don't bring it. Y'all see that? See, the Most High wasn't just a a-hole that was, you must do this and you must do that or I'll kill you. He wanted a willing heart. You see that? The times you see where he killed people and did all these things was because they signed a contract. They said, yeah, we're gonna do all these things that you said to do, and then they didn't. They pulled back. You understand? So he was like, okay, time to kill you. As simple as that. Alright? But I mean, that's fair, right? You put your life on the line. You read all these things in the curses of Deuteronomy, and you said, I'm on. You said, I agree. Okay. Well, when you don't do these things, they're simple things. Don't eat this, don't eat that, right? Dress this way, walk this way, act this way, talk this way. Simple stuff. Right? But we went ahead and agreed to that and put our life on the line for it. Well, if you couldn't do it, it wasn't like it was something that was that hard. It wasn't like he needs you, and it wasn't like, it was going to be an issue. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But you're going to suffer all those curses that are put down, that are in that path. Y'all see that? Not because he's going to come down and personally spank you, but because those are just the consequences of doing those things. All right? For instance, he said don't eat pork, right? If you do, then your enemies will come against you, and they'll come before you one way and you'll flee 7 ways. Well, how's that work? I'm eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and my body's falling apart, so when my enemy comes against me, I have no strength to fight it. You see that? I mean, it's pretty simple. These are the curses are a result of the stupidity of disobeying the law. All right? So we didn't have to agree to it, but he didn't have to bless us for disobeying either. So he didn't. All right? when you deal with tithes. He set it down. Yeah, they give the 10% of this increase and this and that. If you don't, well, fine. I just won't give you no more. You make it on your own. See that? When it comes down time for the windows of heaven to open up, I'm gonna do exactly what you did. You didn't give, so I ain't gonna give. You know what I mean? When the rain is supposed to pour on your crops, I'm gonna skip your house. All right, I'm gonna skip your field. It's just gonna be a cloudy sky everywhere else with rain coming down and a beam of hot, burning sunlight on your crops. You understand? It's not a problem. You don't have to do it. The same thing with the offering. You didn't have to give these things. When he told them this is what you're going to offer, they didn't have to. It said they had to do it willingly. You see that? So your offering was whatever you gave. Watch. Read.
With his heart ye shall take my offering.
So those who gave willingly with their heart, those were the ones where he was going to accept their offering. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them, gold and silver and brass.
Hold on, what was the offering he was going to take of them?
Gold and silver and brass.
Wheat and barley and rye.
Gold and silver and brass.
The first increase of your fruit trees.
Gold and silver and brass.
So he took money from them, right? This was their offering. So offerings were money or materials, as it goes on to talk about. Alright? But it was a willing thing that you gave. A tithe was an obligational thing that you gave, meaning he ordered it and you're supposed to give it. You understand? An offering was something that you gave willingly. You wanted to give. You understand? So you see the difference though, right? Alright. Because that's really it. The difference between tithe and offering and alms. These are things you willingly gave. Offering and alms you willingly gave because you knew what needed to be done. You had that heart, that spirit to you that you wanted to be a part of what was being built or what was being done. Alright? Tithe was required. If you're an Israelite, you give this. You see that? Or else. So that's basically the difference. Like I said, again, the ones that are smart Alex and or the bare minimum artists, and they want to say, oh well, it was just the increase of your crops and the increase of your whatever, and I don't have that. Okay, well then, why can't you get money? Well, because it doesn't say that. Oh, okay, so you're a bare minimum person. You see that? You don't understand the spirit of the law. It was about giving willingly. It was about giving with a joyful heart, the cheerful giver. Well, that's cool. The Most High is going to give to you like you gave to him. If you sow sparingly, you'll reap sparingly. Not a problem. Alright. It does say at least you'll still get something back, right? You just get what you put in. You see that? If you're like one of those, like, oh, okay, let's see, you require 10%, so let me calculate exactly what 10% is down to the last penny. Well, then that's what you're going to get. Okay, what did they give? Okay, $314.05. Okay, well, let them win the lottery, but they're gonna win it with 30 other people, so they get $310.05. You see that? Let them go ahead and hit the Powerball numbers for 65 million, but they gotta share it with like 25,000 other people, and they'll get $310.05. You see what I'm saying? That's what he'll do back for you. It's like, yeah, okay, well, that's what you could have had, and this is what you're going to get because you sowed sparingly. You understand?
Done.
And it's the same thing, but with your tithe, that was required. All right, that was the 10% of your increase, and it was of what you were willing to give, and then those that were honorably mentioned gave above and beyond. See, when you read about people like Solomon, David, Hezekiah, right? They would set up sacrifice on the whim. I just feel good toward the Most High, man. Kill 30,000 sheep and 50,000 bulls and let the rivers run red with blood and barbecue everything. Like, damn, really? What, you mean from the people stuff? No. Get my own personal flocks, man. The good stuff. You understand? Get my wine and feed the people with it. Get my stuff and feed all the people with it, and that's going to be my offering to the Most High. Wait, you're not going to calculate and just work out the 10%? Hell nah, just grab 30,000. You understand? That's how righteous people thought. That was love. You see that? It wasn't no, let me calculate out 10%. Now, if you want to go into, again, righteousness, when you go to Abraham, when he gave tithes, right? He whooped 4 kings. He beat 4 kings. So they had to come and bow down and give him tribute, meaning they had to give him offerings and tribute money out of what they had in their whole land. You understand? So like basically it was like this. I have a land with that's basically the whole state of Texas, right? Now you whoop me and I own the whole state of Texas. So 10% of everything every Texan makes, I gotta give you, Abraham. Times 4, because it was 4 kings that were like that, right? Now he took that, right? Say that was $50 billion, right? He willingly took 10% out of that and gave that to the king of Salem, Melchizedek. All right, when you read that in Genesis, he took the tribute money from 4 kings and said, you know what? Most High gave me that victory, man. It was only 318 men I brought with me, servants. It wasn't even a trained army. It was just my servants I brought, and he gave us the victory over 4 countries. Y'all see that?
Done.
Said that 10% of that got to go to the Most High, man. That's a big tithe, right? But as soon as he got it, he gave it. You didn't have to tell him in a commandment that you have to give 10%. Matter of fact, the commandment a lot of times more than likely came from something our forefathers did, like Abraham. So the commandment of the 10% more than likely came from Abraham writing the righteous law himself. You understand? Meaning he was righteous and he did it, and then the law was written about that. Hey, you know what? This is what you're going to do. Why? Because I'm going to teach you how to be righteous like Abraham. See that? Abraham didn't have to be told what to give. He just said, hey, 10%. So let's put that as a law. Why? So we can lead these wicked niggas back to righteousness. Back to what Abraham did. You see that? It was simple as that. Just like they have the thing where like if you sold some land or whatever, you had to take off a shoe and give it to the person. It was like a receipt. That was from when they sold Joseph. When they sold Joseph, they gave one of the shoes. When you read about that, when he was sold to the Ishmaelites. You understand? So those became like receipts of sale. So like if I sold him my house, right? And then later on they come back and be like, yeah, man, I didn't sell him that house. I got his shoe. He gave me his shoe. I got a receipt. You see that? It didn't have to be a written receipt and all that. No, you got the shoe. There's certain customs that came from things we did in the past. Right? Certain laws came from things we did in the past. The 10%, the tithe, was what Abraham righteously did without anybody having to tell him to do it. Alright? So us going back to righteousness, how much more do we owe? You think about it. If you ain't paid your tithe since you was ever, right? If you never paid tithes your whole life and then you got the truth and you found out, dang, I gotta pay tithes, are you still calculating 10% right now? See that? Now, the topic of the class is not tithe, so before we lose like 20 more viewers like last time, because everybody get tight about money, we're not trying to hit y'all up for money, man. Y'all know what you gotta do. You know what we gotta do to spread this truth. Hopefully y'all just give, all right? But the question was, what's the difference between tithes and offering, right?
I wanted to know if it was money, and if you don't work, do you have to pay tithes and offerings? Do you pay alms?
Oh, right. If you don't work, do you have to pay tithes and offerings? And that goes into that story of the widow with the 2 mites. You understand? Where she gave out of her penury, her poverty. All right. Now there's no 10% of nothing. You can't give 10% of nothing. You understand? So what do we do now? Is we're gonna be touching on my class for dealing with this. We'll go to Romans chapter 12. Start at verse 1. So if you don't have money, if you don't have an income to pay tithes and offerings, no, you're not working out tithes and offerings because you don't have anything. You see that? But what you can give is this. Read.
Romans chapter 10.
12.
Oh, 12. Romans chapter 12, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your body a living sacrifice.
See that? You present your what?
Living body.
That you present your body a living
Your
sacrifice.
present body.
See that?
Good.
And before everybody starts losing their mind thinking we're like turning into a cult, we don't want your body like that. Alright? What the Most High is saying is offer yourself. You understand? That you offer yourself as a person that can do the work. Alright? Lay your life on the line and say, you know what? I'm just going to do the work of the Most High with sincerity, with truth. Alright? Like, much like what y'all do, what, you know, you and your husband do. You know, if you ain't got it, y'all put in. You know, brother brought the grill for the Passover and did all these things. You do stuff like that. What you have, you give. You see that? So yeah, you know, if it's not gonna be, is this just not playing or I'm not sure. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. This ain't trying to talk to me. Yeah, that was. Alright, cool. So where you at?
Romans chapter 12, verse 1.
Read that.
I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercy of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy.
Alright, so you present your body that living sacrifice. Read.
Holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. Keep going.
There you go. Alright. So this is our reasonable service. This is what he's requiring from us now. That's your tithe now. That's your offering now. He knows we're broke. He wrote the curses in Deuteronomy 28. He knew we was going to be broke, penniless, be servants, slaves. So what is he going to require tithes of you for? Like, if he already knew we were going to be servants and slaves, how are people going to bring up, oh yeah, it was only 10% of your crops and 10% of your fruits and vegetables? Nigga, he knew we were going to be slaves and we're going to have no fruits and vegetables and crops. But the tithe still stands. So what does that mean? What are you giving now? Your increase. You see that? You give the 10% of your increase. If you don't have that, you present your body to a living sacrifice. You understand? All right. So yeah, if you don't have it, you don't get it. To make it simple. Where in the Bible it says, paraphrasing, that trials and tribulations is set aside for every man from birth. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 7:46. No.
This is second Ezra chapter 7 and verse 57.
Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 57. Page 23, the red book.
You got it? Alright, go ahead.
Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 57. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight.
So that's it right there. This is the condition of battle that man that's born on the earth shall fight. Go ahead.
Verse.
So if you're any person, any human being, and you were born on earth, all right, you are going to fight a battle. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 58. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer, as thou hast said.
See, if you get overcome with that, if you get overcome in that battle, if you lose that battle, that spiritual battle, you're gonna suffer. I like these scriptures, how they coming out, man, because it's perfect. It's right with the spirit of the class, man. If you go in this battle and you get overcome, if you commission yourself as an officer, a general, a soldier, a trooper, right? And you get overcome by the battle that's set on all mankind, you give up, you quit, well, you will suffer. Simple as that, right? Go ahead.
Khan shall suffer as thou hast said, but if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I said.
So, but if he get the victory, if he wins, if he overcomes all that, and this is spiritual, obviously, right? We know the scriptures say the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, right? So we're not talking about a physical battle. We're talking about that spiritual battle, that fiery trial that's going to try all of us, right? If we overcome it, if we get overcome by it, we'll suffer. But if we get the victory, right?
He shall receive the things that I said.
See that? We're going to receive the things that Christ said of us that we'll receive. That Isaiah 64:4, that I had not seen nor ear heard, nor has entered into the heart of man the things that the Most High had prepared for them that love Him. Y'all see that? Or that wait on Him. So these are the things we're going to get if we overcome. All right. So hopefully that answered your question. That was 2 Ezra 6 verse 56 or 57, right?
57 and 58. Khan.
Okay. Let's see. What else we got? Huh?
No.
Okay, we got that. Can you explain what Yahawashi meant in the parable at Luke 19, verse 27?
Luke chapter 19, verse 27.
Khan.
But those my enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring them hither and slay them before me.
Luke 19, verse 27. In the parable there, he's pretty much laying it out for you. Those that are his enemies that didn't want to be servants to Christ and didn't want to do what he said bring them here so I can slay them. All right? Now, I like that you brought that up because, again, it goes into the class. Those people that said they were going to serve Christ and they didn't, they became his enemies. You understand?
Done.
And they pulled back, they drew back, and they decided they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. All of a sudden, right? He said, bring them here before me so I can slay them. Not that he's going to have mercy on them, pat them on the head, and say, hey, you tried, son. No, this ain't pee-wee football, man, like they doing now, right? Everybody gets a reward, right? You get a trophy, you get a blue ribbon because you showed up. Right? Yeah, everybody's equal. No, we won. Yeah, but we're all getting trophies. That's bull, man. Most I said you didn't even want to serve me, you gonna get punished, man. He said, bring them here before me so I can slay them. Alright, so that kind of self-explanatory right there, but we'll see if maybe they put a different scripture or something.